clear of the closing doors, please.
All right, here we go. We are not live on Subway Sports Talk. My name is Peter Kennedy, and I'm your host. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in to SST on Apple Podcasts app, Spotify, and on YouTube. Also, if you're not listening on TikTok, and I say listening, if you're not looking at TikTok at Subway Sports Talk, you're missing out on some conversations. You're missing out on some numbers. How about that? We got some action on the TikTok. Over 330 comments on video I posted this week. It's a lot of fun, so get on the TikTok and the social media stuff as well. But joining me today, Mr. COC, Cody O'Connor. What's up, my dude?
What up, Pete? Getting close, 3-2. Trying to distract myself from other stuff. Go Thunder.
Yeah, the Thunder are doing it. At the same time, our New York Mets are not doing it. They are playing as bad as they've played the entire season. Same goes for the New York Yankees. We plan to touch on all of that stuff. And ironically, I made a video about Aaron Judge and how amazing he was. I did a whole podcast on it, actually. And since I made that video and that podcast, he's been horrible. I also made a video and a whole podcast about how the New York Mets pitching staff is not fluky. And since I made that video, Cody, they haven't won a game. Tyler McGill is hurt. Kodai Senga's hurt. So maybe I'm the jinx. Maybe I'm the problem, but I don't believe in that BS. But I do believe in some other stuff. And what we're going to do right now, Cody O, is let's express some irrational angers right now, because you know what? It's going around. I know you're feeling it, and I know I'm feeling it. So what we're going to do right off rip of this podcast right here on Subway Sports Talk, let's get some stuff off our chests, and then we'll circle back and we'll relax and we'll talk it through. So let me start you with this, Cody. Right now, the way the NBA is being talked about is driving me up a wall. I cannot take it for much longer listening to people complain about things that are not true. Listening all year long about people saying that no one plays defense and this game is soft and everyone just shoots three and the mid-range is dead. And then now in the NBA Finals, we have two teams who are the antithesis of that exact complaint, and no one cares. And everyone can only say that it's a ref show and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander flops. That's the takeaway. I'm sick of it, Cody. The conversations around the NBA are becoming pathetic. And when I say that, I don't mean about the specific people, the Zach Lowe's of the world, who love this sport to death, who break it down in a beautiful way. They're awesome. There's plenty of them out here. I like to think you and I are two of those people. But the overwhelming majority of people who look at this sport and this game do not see it for what it is. They say they don't care about LeBron anymore, but we haven't seen numbers in the ratings since he was in it, spoiling us every single year. They say, oh, the NBA doesn't market their people enough. Okay, you know what's going on. You can watch it. The things you say you want are happening, and you don't care. Figure it out. Now, I don't care what people watch or don't watch, but if you're going to sit here and complain all year and call a league soft and then not appreciate it when they're playing physical as all hell, I'm sick of it, Cody. So I am irrationally upset with how people are taking in this series. Because if you watch SGA and truly just watch him, and I'm giving you a layup right now for when we circle back on this, because I know you're going to love this. If you watch him play basketball, he reminds you of your favorite stars of yesteryear. The footwork, the touch, the mid-range, the spin off the glass, the up and under, the making defenders just on their heels uncomfortable over and over and over again with a pace that you can't believe. And lastly, you want to complain about flopping? Let's talk about all the finishes that he has. Half those times he's getting fouled, he's making the damn shot in anyway. So you want to complain about a flop? I'm impressed by the make. Even the foul calls that he doesn't get, he's making lefty layups, floaters, spin bank shots. What are we doing? If you don't like that, you don't like NBA basketball. And it's the perfect line to finish with this, because it's driving me freaking nuts, Cody, that people just complain over and over and over again. And now they're giving you what you want, and you're saying, the hell with it. I told you I wanted that. I lied. I want nothing that I said I wanted. I want Steph Curry versus LeBron James 19 times in a row, and then every time they play again in the finals, I'm going to complain that it was fixed anyway. Get out of here. That's all I got.
Pete, I'm irrationally angry myself.
Please, let me hear it.
It's got nothing to do with basketball. It's June. My team's 17 games above 500, first place in the division. I shouldn't be upset. We're Mets fans. We're used to losing. We're especially used to losing in Atlanta. But last night, Pete, feels really like a monumental moment in the season, potentially. It feels like it could be a big moment. Lose 3 to the Rays, it happens. I was even saying to my dad all weekend, it's baseball, it's a long season. Let's take it down a notch. But you cannot go into Atlanta after you get that monkey off your back last year, the last time you were there, and win that game that sends you to the playoffs in miraculous fashion, and you have a chance to follow it up and say, no, this is for real. We are the Mets, and we ain't afraid of you, Atlanta. We're not afraid to play in Truist Park. Up 4-1. Marcell Ozuna, 2 outs, bases loaded, waiting for that splitter to come again. He waves at the one before and just gets a very lucky bat on the ball to stay alive in the at-bat. And there's no way to prove this, but you'll have to take my word for it because I'm watching saying, please throw him a fastball at the bottom of the zone because he just is guessing splitter, and he was late on that one. And you're going to surprise him with a fastball because it's not your biggest out pitch. Waved off by Alvarez. Garrett throws it anyway, and we're tied. And you could just feel it. Acuna catch at the wall after earlier he can't get to a ball, and it looks like, oh yeah, because Acuna's still working his way back. He makes an unbelievable play to double them up at the wall. And if it's not bad enough that you now lost 4 in a row, and you've got Blackburn on the hill tonight against Chris Sale, and you've got Strider coming up, and then you're going to go play Philly, and Zach Wheeler's going to start that series against you, and what was 3 turned to 4, could be 5, 6, and 7, and you're in the middle of a division battle with all these teams on the horizon, 10 straight games against the division, which I can't stand the schedule makers, but that's a different conversation. You threw your best 3 bullpen arms. It wasn't enough to get the win. And now you're down early, 3-0 in Atlanta, staring at an uphill climb. And again, it's June. Like, I've been the one saying, chill out. They're playing great baseball. This is a good team. And I'm not even sitting here trying to tell you that this is going to be an indictment on the rest of the year. But I am more frustrated and pissed off that they let that game slip last night because it could continue this spiral when you had a chance to stop the bleeding right then and there. So here we are, still 17 games above 500, still in control of the division. All should be well, but I am pissed the hell off. Not even worried long term. I'm just pissed off that again, this house of horrors known as Truist Park gets us. I don't think there's a single team in all of sports that I dislike more. And it's dislike straight up because you have owned me my whole life. But the Atlanta Braves, you own me, and I hate you for it. And I'm pissed off.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I definitely sounded more irrational from a tone perspective than you. Even in your irrational anger, you had yourself calm, cool, and collected, which I give you some credit for. I got a little off the rails there for a second, didn't I?
I can't wait to circle back though. Because you had me ready to reply, and I'm like, nope, we talked about this, Cody. Don't reply yet.
But Cody, it's just insane to me what's happening with the NBA. But on the Mets, really quickly, this is truly one of those series that feels like it could be a turning point. And I'm not saying it's going to be. Like you, I'm also pissed off. Watching that game last night, you're just like, are you serious? This is how you're going to go out in this game? After you get swept by the Rays, you respond with this amazing 8 innings against Atlanta, where David Peterson's throwing his life out on the line again, throwing out another gem. And this is how you lose with a dumb play from Alvarez behind the dish. No hope from him in the batter's box. And then, Soto gets weirdly doubled up in a spot where he probably shouldn't have, but Acuna made a sick play, so you can't be that mad. But you're like, this is how we're going to go down? Like this? This is stupid. And it was irrationally angering. And I think it was one of those games that felt like, when people get really mad in like the first week of the season It's like, all right, we're 3-3, and I'm furious because our offense is trash and we're never going to score any runs this entire season. It's like, all right, hold on. Just because they didn't score in the first series that much doesn't mean they're not going to hit well for the entire season. But this series against Tampa and now the start against Atlanta feels like one of those things where it could lead to a real slump. And frankly, especially against Atlanta, you can't afford a slump. Phillies are on that ass. We know that. And the Atlanta Braves are starting to play better. And Ronald Acuna, who hit a home run already in the second game of this series, is back, baby. He is crushing the baseball again. So the Braves, for all their struggles that they had, which were pretty serious to start the season off, they're back, man. They're back. And the Nationals don't suck. So all this like cushion that we felt like was created for the New York Mets in the first, 65-ish games of the season, it stings right now. So I'm with you on that front.
It feels like an opportunity to really step on the throat of Atlanta, which they had that chance to do in 2022 in June and didn't.
Right.
And this is different. This is apples to oranges. It really is. But Atlanta is 6.5 back in the wild card. Like, they're going to be heard from, and you really had a chance here. And I feel like they squandered that chance last night. And I'll tell you what, if they can make me eat my words tonight, it will tell me so much about the Mets if they can find a way to win tonight and stop this bleeding. But right now, I just don't have the trust that they're going to be able to find it. Not tonight.
So now on to the NBA take from myself here, Cody. I feel like I'm leading on the witness by having this conversation with you because we talk off air, obviously, knowing kind of where we both stand. And, part of my frustration stems from this TikTok that I posted. I know TikTok commenters and Twitter commenters are not, they're not the majority. They're the loud minority. And that's always what social media will be. But I'm hearing this in my personal life too. I hear this people anecdotally all the time, and it just drives me up a wall. And I made a response video that got like no views on it, but was important for me to make, right? So I make the video, gets 30,000 views, 300 plus comments, people saying, oh, this and that, some reasonable arguments, not a lot of trash in there, but generally speaking, why I was irrationally mad. But one guy was like, why does it bother you if you don't watch? It doesn't bother me if you don't watch. It just bothers me when people complain about something that I don't believe is true. And that's really what triggers me in this conversation. And like, you're a Thunder fan who obviously has a larger affinity to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander than I do, or your non-Thunder NBA fan would. So it probably bothers you even more than it bothers me, frankly. But how do you watch this dude who won the MVP, who was incredible, who was efficient, who, let's be honest here, plays exactly like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, okay? He's not as physically imposing. I get it. He's not above the rim. But the style in which they score and move around the basketball court is freaking similar. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. Oh, well, I know he's not as good and he's not quite Michael Jordan. I don't care anymore. He plays like them. You say you want that. He does it. Michael Jordan lived on the free throw line. Kobe Bryant lived on the free throw line.
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, well, they were getting clotheslines. Okay. Guess what? It's a different freaking time of the world, bro. Just like Sean Alexander, the running back for the Seahawks in the 2000s, was getting mauled by juiced up freakazoids when he ran through the line. Guess who's not getting mauled like that anymore? Saquon Barkley. I don't know why I picked Sean Alexander, but like, we still appreciate Saquon Barkley. We don't say when Justin Jefferson makes a sick catch over the middle. Some people do say it, so let me not say that nobody says it. But frankly, we don't do it when Justin Jefferson makes a sick catch over the middle. Oh, well, he would have got his head taken off in 1997. Like, why do we do this with basketball? It doesn't make any sense, Cody. It drives me nuts. SGA is incredible to watch. And we have to, complain for 3 years until we give him his flowers? I just don't freaking get it.
We never do it as NBA fans when it happens. We didn't appreciate the Spurs dynasty because it was boring. When Steph and the Warriors were doing it, it was too many threes and they're ruining the game. And now if you look back, people are saying, man, I would love to see that type of basketball again. But you were just complaining about it. There's like almost too many takes in my head for how ridiculous these comments are. but that's kind of what has been driving them. Like, it's like people watched game 1 against Minnesota where Shea got probably like 3-4 calls that he shouldn't have. And we're like, oh, you see, this is what we've been saying. It's like, all right, but how about the rest of the series, playoffs, season?
How about the 14 field goals that he hit as well?
Yeah, see, that's what
those
it's
don't
never
count?
being brought up. It will never be brought up.
He's not scoring all 30 points at the free throw line, guys.
And it's like you're complaining, you're mad because he gets his points there because he makes his free throws, or because he's so aggressive at the end of games and is so in need of wanting the ball and getting fouled and getting to the line, which everyone wants their superstar to do, right? Don't you want your guy?
We complain that Jason Tatum doesn't attack enough.
LeBron James is afraid of the free throw line. Was a take for years. He won't go downhill and go to the basket and get fouled. Why? Because he doesn't want to go to the line. What have we always said about the best scorers? When they're not going well, they get themselves to the line, they get themselves going. They get an easy basket, they get themselves going. It's ridiculous. It's such a bad take. The dude just has such a bag. He has every move in the book to get you off balance, to shake you off. He makes right play after right play, and it's not appreciated. Why? Because I think the free throw thing really comes, Pete, because there's not many holes in his game to attack. But we as NBA fans, and I kind of air quote fans, because most people that watch this game, they just don't appreciate it or like it. Like, it's a weird affinity. I think Durant said it years ago, like, NBA fans don't like the NBA. It was one of the things he was dead right about. It's crazy. The dude is just doing it in so many ways on the defensive end, efficiently, consistently. He gets assists when he needs to. He take a back seat to J-Dub, which is like such a refreshing thing from a superstar to be like, I'm going to take a back seat because you got it going. I'm going to dish out 10 assists. Oh, and I'm going to quietly drop another 30 piece on you.
30 and 10. And people could say, oh, but he took 13 free throws. He had 33 and 10, bro.
What about game 5 against Minnesota when he dropped 34 on like 4 attempts from the line? Like, he doesn't need the free throws. He just gets them. Why? Because he's aggressive as hell. He has, like, it's funny, Pete, because we talk about Kobe and we talk about Jordan with him, and I see a couple other things. I see a boringness of Tim Duncan. I see a steady Tim Duncan-like assassination where you're looking up and you go, wait, what? He got to 24 after 3 quarters? Like, I didn't even remember him doing that because it's just quiet and it's efficient. It's not loud like Anthony Edwards is, but it's effective as hell, and it's clear, it's obvious. They won 68 games. They're on the verge, 1 game away from potentially winning it all. So you know what? I don't personally care what people want to say or think. He gets it done, and he gets it done any way he has to.
And he's frankly more efficient than a lot of stars. He's a
guard shooting above 50% from the field. People don't realize how ridiculous that is.
Yeah, he's unprecedented at this point in time. A point guard to do what he's doing, it hasn't happened many times in NBA history. It actually hasn't.
I honestly think the whole flopping thing, we watch a lot of basketball. I don't think, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's even in the top 5 of current NBA players as far as flopping is concerned, or how bad he is about getting calls. Because you've got Luka that does it way worse, complains after every freaking call. Trae Young does it on almost every single play. I'm sorry, Jalen Brunson does it a lot. Does it all the time. James Harden is still in the league. Joel Embiid is still in the league.
Certainly.
LeBron, and to be honest, dude, you watch even TJ McConnell will try to get a call and try to manipulate. Nikola Jokic, I saw him horizontal to the ground multiple times. It's just not a narrative for him or for these guys, so it's not talked about.
Right,
but
and Jokic is also 7 feet tall and he's huge. He gets swacked, and everyone's like, "Oh."
It's not like I'm not trying to throw shade at those guys. I'm simply trying to point out that if you watch enough basketball, you see almost everyone in some way try to manipulate the game because it's just the way it went. And if we have a real complaint, I made this take about Embiid, who I don't like. I never complained about Embiid getting these calls. I complain about the NBA who still calls them. Because
gives him the calls, yeah.
If you're a basketball player, take the competitive advantage.
In the defense of some people who are complaining, they're blaming the NBA, they're blaming Adam Silver, they're blaming the referees.
Fair.
So like that's fair. And I'll give everybody those credences as much as they want, whatever. But like on that front again, like, because I made in the TikTok I made, it was a comparison to the NFL. Like if this was the Jaguars and the Vikings, we'd still be locked in, right? And a lot of people made the apt point saying, well, this is a 7-game series. It takes freaking 3 weeks, which is like so long. And I get that. That's a fair point. Fair point. But one day, the Super Bowl, it's very easy to just watch it. Everyone's watching it. It's very easy, right? So I get all that stuff. But do we forget that we complain about NFL refs all year too? Right? Like we complain about NFL refs all year long. They also complain to refs all game long, and they also flop.
What's
we literally make fun of quarterbacks and pass interferences all the time and holding penalties. Oh my God, that was a flop. That guy hardly got touched. But we don't care. And I get it. The NFL is freaking king. I love it. You love it. We all love it. It's amazing. I can't wait for September for that reason exactly. But let's be consistent here. And then 2 more things quick, Cody. So we got to get to the Mets and Yankees really quickly here. The other things, right? So Shea is Shea. We already talked about him. Jalen Williams lives in the mid-range. Mm-hmm. That's facts. Pascal Siakam lives in the mid-range. Both of these teams do not rely on 40, 50 three-pointers like some of these other teams in the league do. They play the opposite style. They move the ball. Everyone touches it. Everybody eats. And it's a true team game. That's what we said we wanted. That's what we're getting. And we don't care. Right? Tyrese Halliburton, say what you want about him. You like him. You don't like him. You love him. You hate him. He plays as close to the traditional point guard style as any point guard in the league. I said Jason Kidd. Throw out Steve Nash. Throw out any of these dudes that we all grew up on, that we have nostalgia for, that we loved growing up. He plays like them. He plays like Magic Johnson. Let's be real. He's not as physically imposing as Magic. He's not as good as Magic. I'm not saying that. But the style in which he plays is like that. We say we want that, Cody, and then it happens, and we say it sucks. So it's very frustrating, to say the least. So I think I'm done with that conversation right now, because as Bill Simmons said very nicely on his podcast this week, he goes, you know what, to Doc Rivers. He goes, you know what, Doc, like, this is one for us. You know when you say like
movie stars, right? One for them, right. One for you.
One for them, one for us, right? Type of thing. When you make a movie that's blockbuster, then you make one that's artsy fartsy. This is, maybe it's the artsy fartsy finals. And this is for us. And this is for the real NBA fans who like actually appreciate the product. And no one's ever going to love this until, Shea and the Thunder are going for a 2-peat, 3-peat, etc. Maybe then we'll care about the Thunder more. But for right now, it's one for us. I'm enjoying this finals. And I don't want to watch the Pacers succeed. And they're playing good basketball. And I respect them. And I'm enjoying the basketball that I'm watching. So I'll leave it at that. You have anything else to add on that front before we talk some baseball for a few minutes?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Pacers. Like, I'm almost upset that we hopped on and that's what we have to talk about, because the series is so good. It's so fun. The Pacers deserve so much credit. Like,
so much.
I don't think we actually made a prediction in games, but I feel like the way we all talked about it, it was probably like a Thunder in 5, most likely, right?
Yeah.
And even if they win in 6, I won't feel like, I was only a game off. The Pacers are the best team that Oklahoma City's seen this year. They play the best brand of basketball. They deserve to be in the NBA Finals. They are so hard to stop. They come at you with so many different guys. They're picking up 94 feet. Like, they play this awesome style, and that's what Oklahoma City plays. This is just great basketball. I mean, it's back and forth. It feels difficult. 12-point leads don't feel safe. 15-point leads don't feel safe. It's so tough to get everything you want to get, and you have to be on your game, on your toes, playing effective and efficient, and that's what we want. I mean, the Pacers ball never seems to stop. Oklahoma City, it has at times. When it opens back up, it looks beautiful. And it takes again, like, I'm upset that we have to come on and be like, I can't believe this is the narrative, because the narrative should be, if you're watching this, I think you're watching the 2 best teams who deserve to be there, who are playing awesome high-level basketball, and just enjoy it. And if you don't like it, then that's fine. But shut up. Like seriously, Pete, think about this. Imagine somebody came up to you and they were like, hey, like, you're like, hey, like, I want to go see this movie. And I'm like, no, don't worry about it. Like, it sucks. And you're like, oh, damn. Like, would you see it in theaters? I go, no. I actually didn't see the movie at all. I read this review on Twitter. Are you going to still, like, take my word and be like, yeah, you're right, I'm not going to watch the movie?
Dude,
like,
so
aren't
good.
you going to go see it for yourself? It's ridiculous.
I have one more to go off that, because I was planning on making a social video for this exact topic tomorrow when this podcast comes out, basically. To me, this perfect parallel exists right now with the MCU and the NBA. and I know you're not a Marvel fan, but you probably pick up what I'm putting down because you're online basically as much as I am.
Too much.
The Thunderbolts came out a few months ago. It was critically acclaimed as one of the best Marvel movies in a long time. People talked about it and said, now this is what I'm talking about. A story that cares about characters and character development and has great action and good themes. And it was just a really well done Marvel movie. It crashed in the box office. I did air quotes there. It didn't do as well as they hoped. It didn't do as well as movies that people thought were substantially worse than this movie. This series, the Thunder and the Pacers, is the Thunderbolts of the NBA. It is good characters with good character development over the last few years. It is high quality basketball or high quality filmmaking. It is a story that we haven't seen before that should be new and exciting and riveting. And what does it do in the box office? It crashed. It burned. Meanwhile, everyone who saw it was like, the MCU is back. This crushed. This was awesome. But the large majority didn't care to go see it. And that's exactly what this finals is. You know, I know you're not a Marvel fan, but I feel like the analogy makes sense. And to me, it's perfect. You get Infinity War and Endgame with every big star. It's huge. It's massive. It's LeBron and Steph and KD and Kawhi Leonard and all these dudes. That's awesome. Now we got Bucky Barnes and we got Yelena Belova. And they're awesome characters. They might be as good or better than the other characters. They're just not as well known. They're not as big. They don't feel as important right now. But they might, and they probably deserve more love at the moment. So that's like my little take based off kind of what you just said.
Yeah, hey, remember, we do have the MVP of the league in this series, and he was the runner-up last year. So,
and what was the last, they said the last time somebody won the MVP and the finals MVP in the same year
I think it's scoring title. I thought it was scoring title MVP, finals MVP, and it might have been
like Jordan.
I thought it might have been Shaq, but it could have been Jordan.
Might have been Shaq. It might have been Shaq. It was, but even finals MVP and MVP in the same year, I think we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations
if they finish this off. This season, this single season for a guard, if it gets finished off, will be
probably top 5 all time.
I mean, what else could you ask for? But that's for
Steph
a different
Curry.
time. I'm not counting my chickens.
Yeah,
this is too far away. Indiana could absolutely still win. Legit.
Indiana could definitely win game 6
awesome
on Thursday.
Team, man. Awesome team.
And then 7, you never know. All right, let's talk some baseball real quick before we say goodbye. We said 8:36. That's what time it is as we're recording right now. We'd be done. We're not done yet, but we're only going to do this for a few more minutes, and it'll be done. 5 to 7 minutes. Let's say that. The New York Mets right now have lost 4 in a row. Cody, does it feel important? And again, by the time this comes out, could be 5 in a row. Mm-hmm. They could have ended the streak. We'll see. Does it feel important for me to say before that they won 6 in a row?
Yeah, it does, because you're going to be talking about a stretch of 500 baseball if they lose 6 in a row after. So it's important.
Okay, so that's the truth. They were on a winning streak, and now they're on a losing streak, and it's their worst streak of the season. However, like you talked about in your rational anger moment before, this one feels worse. So I want to talk quickly about the issues that have been taking place with this team right now, and it feels like that pitching, which I called not fluky and legitimate, is starting to crumble a little bit. Kodai Senga out, Tyler McGill out, bullpen getting a little bit choppy in certain moments now, right? Is that your major concern at the moment? Is it the pitching and the health and all that stuff? Is that what's bothering you kind of on the outlook of this team for the next few weeks?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Griffin Canning has struggled of late. Not that Tyler McGill was doing great before, but the timing of him and Senga going down before Manaya and Montas come back, and every line you've seen from Montas looks uglier and uglier in AAA, but now you're relying on him heavily. But it's not like I'm overly concerned. That's really not it. It's a very big frustration in this moment. And you have to stop the bleeding, because the games coming up are all division games, and you're letting Atlanta come back in. That's where my anger comes from, and frustration. It's more that than legitimate concern.
So it's the head-to-head stuff, not exactly like the pitching or the hitting or whatever. I feel like the hitting,
pitching still though, yeah.
Right, the pitching has been a little bit more scary now than the hitting, because I mean, let's be real. You know, Soto's hitting now. Alonso is still hitting the ball well. Lindor's been a little bit more hit or miss, I guess, if you will. But Nimmo and Marte seem as locked in as they've been. Like the hitting seems fine. Beatty's not been super consistent, but still doing some stuff. Like the hitting seems fine. And I feel like that's problematic. And what I want to see from this team is that if the pitching is a little bit more touch and go, if you will, over the next few weeks, you need to win some games with offense. And that's the thing we haven't seen from this team just yet is like, all right, we give up 7 runs. We scored 10, right? Like, where's that been from the team where it's like they're pouring it on? And to me, that's twofold. One is there are certain points of the lineup right now that you just don't have a ton of faith in, right? Like Tyrone Taylor had a big triple RBI yesterday, but like you're not watching him on the Mets saying we need him to hit 300. That's just not who he is. He's a great center fielder who will give you something on offense occasionally. Alvarez has been a travesty at the plate, unfortunately, right? McNeil has had some really great little stretches, and then he's been kind of MIA, right? So to me, I need to see this offense put together like full performances a couple times here. And that's something that with the pitching and understanding some injuries in front of us right now, the offense needs to step up and kind of bear some of that burden and win games for them.
Oh, absolutely. And the concern, if there's a real concern over the offense, it's of the young guys and that no one seems to genuinely be developing. Like Vientos is coming back. He didn't look great before then. Brett Beatty had like a 2-week stretch where we're like, oh boy, here he comes. He has since cooled off, and I think he's got a groin injury. Alvarez, I texted you guys this last night. There's not a single player on the team I have less faith in at the plate than him. Mm-hmm. And maybe I was like too close to it. You guys know I made a big claim on him. I'm getting ready to look very, very dumb there. But he's at a point where I think the people saying he should be sent down to AAA for a little bit are correct. I really do think he could benefit from that. And I don't know if it's a hitting coach philosophy, which you see a lot of on Mets Twitter with their hitting coach and their general philosophy, I suppose. But none of those, like Ronnie Mauricio has not looked good. He's got this smooth, easy power. Yes, he's got all those like things that are like, oh my goodness, look what he can be. None of it's coming to fruition just yet. Like some of those, Luis Angel Acuna can't even get a day in the field. Like tonight, I'm wondering why against the lefty, Mauricio's in the lineup as not a great right-hand bat, and you can't get Acuna a day on. But again, it's like an avalanche coming at us. And this is what the MLB season is, and we always have to remember this because I hate the takes in early April and May that are like, this is what it's going to be for the rest of the year. It's like, have you never watched this sport? It's 162 games. They play
your first time following a baseball season? Yeah.
And but it comes from people that are like in the legit media. And I'm like, dude.
Right, like Soto, I think for the weekend, Soto, for example, was like 3 for 10 with 3 walks or something like that. Like that was his line for the Tampa Bay Rays series. And it's like, that's just not enough. It's like, dude, he has not been the problem now.
No.
All right. Like if you wanted to point to him early in the year when they were winning and be like, dude, you got to do more for sure. I mean, come on.
I think it's easy to talk about and grab like attention. Really. I really think that's all
true.
it is.
It's just like sad because like he's not the problem now. Okay.
Far
I know
from
he
it.
wasn't part of the reason why they were winning when they were winning, but now that they're losing a couple games, he's not why they're losing. Okay. Like let's keep it a buck around here. But I agree with you. And how they respond here is going to be huge. And then if I'm not mistaken, they have Philly this weekend.
Yeah, it's 3 with Atlanta. They're in their second game. It's 3 with Philly, and then it's 4 more with Atlanta.
Right. So this is a huge week,
stretch.
man.
And
this is a huge week and a half.
You have 2 guys go down while 2 guys have not yet gotten up. You've got Atlanta literally setting up their starting rotation to pitch as many times against the Mets as they can. Like, F you.
Right.
I hate you, Atlanta. I hate you so much.
But on the flip side, you're getting Sale and Strider again.
Yes, you are.
You know, so you're getting
maybe
Sale.
Schwellenbach again because that guy has also like been awesome, at least against the Mets.
I don't think
hopefully they don't get him again.
Yeah, they don't. He'll pitch on Sunday whoever they're playing against.
It's an avalanche. Right. It's all coming right now. Even I have to take this step back, Pete, and be like, this too shall pass.
And then at Philly, you have Wheeler, Mick Abel, and Jesus Luzardo. And Abel's been pitching very well, young guy for the Phillies. So, like, there's going to be 3 incredibly tough games again. And they're at Philly. So you don't come home until next Monday against Atlanta. It's going to be 100 degrees in New York. It's literally going to be 100 degrees on Monday and Tuesday. So who knows how that goes. And yeah, they got to do something. All right, let's flip to the Yankees really quick, though, because it's 35 minutes into the podcast now. And we said we were doing a 30-minute podcast. So let's hit 40, Cody. Let's hit 40 here. The New York Yankees are in a similar boat to the Mets right now where, they were playing pretty good ball. They get swept by Boston. Now they've lost 2 in a row to the Angels. And as we speak, where are they at right now? They're tied 2-2 with the Angels on Wednesday night. So they're playing pretty meh baseball as well. Over the last week, they had their 2 series with Boston, and they went 1-5. So that stings the Yankees quite a bit as well. Yankee fans are freaking out about Aaron Boone. Yankee fans are upset that they can't win a game in extra innings, which is actually mind-boggling how bad they've been in extra innings so far. And since I talked about how amazing Aaron Judge was, he's been quiet. So I posed this question to you, Cody. With the Goldschmidt playing better, Bellinger was on the uptick. Wells and Rice have been hot for different portions of the season. Trent Grisham was hot for portions of the season. Jazz has been okay since he's back from injury. But without Judge, is this offense just as bad as we thought it was, right? And it feels like a very simplistic question, but are they actually as reliant on Judge offensively still, despite some of the other numbers looking better? Because he was so good all year already. He hasn't missed this year, right? He has just been shooting 50% from 3 so far this season. And now he's shooting 22% from 3 over the last week and a half, and they can't win and they can't score. So is that something to look deeper into, Cody?
Well, this was the concern coming in. And I think at the beginning of the year, they kind of hushed people down a little bit. But
hitting tons of home runs.
Did they not do this last year? Weren't they 25 games above 500, went on a skid, everyone lost their minds, they picked it back up, they went to the World Series? No runs in 3 games in 29 straight innings is not nothing, okay? I'm not sitting here being like, you shouldn't even react to that. I don't want it to come off that way, but the same way I'm talking about the Mets is the same way that we all have to remember how long the season is. And there's just ebbs and flows in it that it just looks like your team is never going to figure it out. And then it sometimes looks like you're never going to get cold again. Kind of like how golf goes. Or anyone who plays golf out there. It's like, oh, I figured it out today. It's like, no, you didn't, moron. Yeah. You're going to go shoot 108 tomorrow. But it's kind of how it goes. So I do still think the lineup is a little bit more well-rounded than it was last year. But it's also hard when by far the best player on your team, the middle of the lineup guy, has nothing going to continue to produce runs. You don't have the same, I don't know. I think when you look at the Mets, it's like, all right, if Lindor's not going, you have 2-3 guys you pretty much should be able to rely on, even when it's not going well. Who is that for the Yanks? I guess this is the question when it really comes down to it. Is it going to be Goldschmidt all year? And then after that, who do you really trust to drive runs in if it's not Aaron Judge? If Aaron Judge is going to continue to be walked like he was last night against the Angels, who's going to be the guy? It's a real question.
Yeah, and it is, because you know what? It almost begs the question is why has Aaron Judge not been walked more, right? And maybe teams are coming around to this again, being like, can we just force, Trent Grisham to go superhero mode again? Can we force Cody Bellinger to drive in these runs? Can we force Giancarlo Stanton in his 4th game back to actually be effective, right?
He rounds it out though too. That's a big addition back.
And he obviously, might take him a little bit to get right. Yeah, and whatever. He's already had a few hits. He hasn't driven the ball, out of the park yet. He had no home runs yet so far this year in his 3 games. But still, the point stands, because I think the numbers are a little bit misleading when you see the numbers here, because you see Goldschmidt, he's batting 300. Grisham's got an OPS of 800. That's really good. Ben Rice, he has 12 home runs. That's awesome. All these things are really great. But then when you really think about how this happened, and Grisham, he has 13 home runs. He hit 6 of them in 2 games or something, right? He had these massive output games that, he massively helped the Yankees win those individual games. But let's not act like his 13 home runs are so spread out that he's been consistently helping this team every single time he's in the lineup, right? He has these massive bursts, right? He had multi-home run games and multi-home run series, It's like pockets of success from all these other dudes. And that's not consistency. That's not what like Pete Alonso has been, right? And I say Pete Alonso because obviously you're not going to compare, Grisham to Alonso, but Alonso's not Judge, right? Like
No one is.
Soto's supposed to be the judge of the Mets, and Alonso's supposed to be like the second guy for the Mets. Who's the Alonso and Lindor of the Yankees right now? And obviously I'm just using that as an easy comparison, but like Goldschmidt's hitting great for average. 7 home runs. He's not driving the ball a crazy ton. Like he's just playing sound, good baseball. And he's batting the lineup. He's not getting a lot of RBI opportunities. Like Volpe has been okay. Like he's been okay, but it's not enough to help really be a carrier of this team. So that's the question to me. Is there enough consistent help? You're getting pockets and you need consistency.
Yeah, we shouldn't be sitting here. And again, Stanton coming back changes a lot mathematically for
The
this
math
team.
changes a ton.
Yeah, like a ton. It really does. It changes some of the protection for Judge. It changes who they can pitch to. But if you're sitting here and we're saying Paul Goldschmidt is the next guy and the next guy I trust the most, and he's 37 years old, like how good is your lineup? Could Bellinger do it at times? Yeah, but like, do you trust him consistently? I think there's a lot of holes in Bellinger's at bats and like places to get him out. Like I think the same about Jazz Chisholm, even though I like Jazz and I like Bellinger, and they're both dangerous. But there's holes in both of them, like ways to get them out that are a little too easy, I think. And like, I don't know, is that going to come back to bite them? Like I can't wait to see if Tampa Bay can actually put real pressure on them in the division and like give them an opportunity to really fight down the stretch, which could be a good thing for them. Sometimes fighting down the stretch leading into the playoffs, whether you win the division that way or not, it might be better than just running away with it. So Boone is going to be tested here, and I know Yankees fans are kind of fed up with him a little bit. But Aaron Boone isn't, fully to blame for going 29 straight innings without a run. I'm sorry, but like you can't just hide behind it's the manager. The manager's not taking at bats. So there's a little bit of that, but it's also ebbs and flows, and it's such a long season. So as much as I have to try to, not overreact to the Mets, you have to try to not overreact to a couple games with the Yankees because there's going to be a game soon or a stretch soon where they're averaging 7 runs a game, and this feels like a blip on the radar.
Right. Yeah, and just for some quick rundown here, Aaron Judge was batting when I made the video, he was batting 396 that morning. He had just went 2 for 5 against Kansas City. Since then, 1 for 4. Then he had a weird off day. He went 0 for 1 in a pinch hit, whatever. Who cares? 1 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 1 for 3, 0 for 4. So, like, is it as simple as if he's not driving in runs, they don't have awesome output? Because the games before that, he had, 2 for 5, 3 RBIs, 3 for 4, 4 RBIs. Then he had an 0 for 4. Then he had another RBI, 3 hit game. Like, is it as simple as that, right? Like, is he an NBA player level impact on a baseball field for this lineup? And if that's the case, I'm going to be curious to see if these teams are like, we are just absolutely not letting him like do anything.
Just like a superstar in the NBA, right? Like when you were talking about that before, that's what I was thinking. We're going to take you away. I'll live with your 3rd, 4th, and 5th option shooting open threes and see if you can do it consistently enough.
And I'm curious if the teams, like they're playing after this Angel series, they have Baltimore, Cincinnati, and the Athletics next 3 series, like series that they should all do really well in. Right? I'm curious if one of these teams is like, we don't really care. Screw like the Reds. Well, are the Reds even good right now?
I think they're around 500.
They're okay. Yeah,
they're 3 games above, actually. So
they're 3 games above. Good for them. But if a team like the Reds is like, you know what? Screw Aaron Judge. We might walk him, and his on-base percentage might be 600 by the time the series is over. But we might win because they have no one else to drive him in. And I'm curious if someone takes that route. I'm curious. So we'll see.
You should Barry Bonds him.
Yeah. He's that good. He literally is that good that he deserves to be Barry Bonds.
He's that good, and the lineup around him is at least enough of a question mark to say exactly what you said. You beat us, Cody Bellinger. You beat us, Jazz Chisholm. And if you do that consistently, maybe Aaron Judge starts to get pitches to hit again. Until then, take your face.
Yeah, take your base. All right, Cody, this has been fun. I feel like this was just a high energy, bang, bang, bang podcast right here.
I needed that. It was
Love
a little therapeutic.
Good stuff. This is awesome. Subway Sports Talk, Pete Kennedy and Cody O'Connor. We had a ton of fun. Let us know if you're listening, who is more irrationally angry. I feel like based upon my tone, people will
Pete,
say me.
I've got to give a shout out and a mention because
Please.
I put it up there. I put it out on our Twitter sphere. Edmonton to win the cup. I called out our boy Bankroll Jack. I say our boy, yet I don't actually know what he looks like or sounds like even, but he's enough in my DMs and in my mentions to say our boy. And Bankroll, I'm dumb. You're smart. I was wrong. You were right. I'm not good looking. You are attractive.
Wow.
I think. I actually don't know that for sure. But Bankroll, you got me this time. But I dare you to double down and take the Pacers to win the NBA Finals. You're going to get 10-1 on it. I'm calling you out again, Bankroll. What you got for me?
Wow, let's go. Bankroll Jack will be listening to this. It's Bankroll Jack's birthday the day this comes out, by the way. Yeah, Bankroll Jack is.
I'm not going to say it.
You're not. don't say it. Oh, that's great. And shout out to you, Cody, for being a man and wearing that one on the chin, because you came on the podcast and we talked puck.
Yeah.
For a moment with Rob Russo, and you were like, Edmonton, baby.
Hey,
da 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 da.
You know what? I got what I deserved for trusting the Canadians.
Yes, fair enough.
Canadian Cody,
fair
he
enough.
is dead and he's buried.
And I spoke to Bankroll Jack earlier today, and he brought up the Edmonton, Florida thing. He's like, you know what? I got to thank Cody for pushing me to make that bet, because I would have never bet on Florida. As a Rangers fan, even if I thought they were going to win, I would never bet on them because screw them. And he's like, I just won $100. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. You're welcome, Bankroll.
Good stuff, man. All right, Cody O, the big COC. Catch him on Twitter at Subway Sports Talk. Catch us all on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, especially. I'm cooking on TikTok, Cody. I'm going ham over there. I'm just posting videos left and right. Follow me on TikTok at Subway Sports Talk, and we're having fun as always. So talk to you soon. Have a great weekend. It's hot. Drink some water and beer. Cheers.